So, okay, you're from California. Gus, where are you from, if I may ask, if you're cool with that?
Tennessee.
Tennessee? All right. Yeah, so I'm from Pennsylvania, if you guys knew that. I didn't know if you knew.
I think Mark Passio is also in Pennsylvania. Have you
Yeah,
ever met him in person?
I tried. So I went to the rally. It was an unmasked rally where but he had like a recording there, even though he lived like a couple blocks away. So I actually stayed with his producer and his team. So I met pretty much everyone but him. But it won't matter because I mean I'm in the network with Mark Pasio as it is, so I have direct contact to him in case I want to reach out to him. But I don't really praise. I mean, obviously, I appreciate the guy and I love his work, but I'm not going to praise him or anything. So I'm not going to push it on him and be like, hey, let's talk one on one, unless there's something important I have to talk about. So but one day I do look forward to perhaps talking more one to one on one with him. Obviously I have a lot of different ideas to share and so forth. Welcome,
Ba-
Nico.
Hey, what's going on? What's up? What's up, guys?
Awesome, cool. So, it's what's cool though about this is all of you guys are like new to the meetings because I have some people that always return to the meetings, like Mason Gleason, which I don't know if he's available today, because I didn't hear from him. Some people just take long hiatuses. Like they just they're like, I need to unplug from the technology realm. So they just completely get off of technology. Uh, and then I never hear from them for like a couple months. Which is not a bad thing to do, frankly. But that means I don't have to hear from them. And that makes me sad. But
The only kind of unplugging I do is just not looking at news. I completely stopped looking at the news and articles and
yeah.
everything like that, and it's just been bliss. I've been so much happier.
Yeah, it's true. I haven't been watching the news at all either. I mean, what's the purpose, frankly, for some of it, unless it's like something you really have to know. Which most of it, frankly, I guess, is just fear mongering. It's at least how I see it.
Yeah, a good 99% of it.
Yeah. So, how are you, Nico?
I'm good. Actually, just scored a full time job. I start next week. Um, so I got that. I've been working on the website some. I have my friend here, Ivan. He's tuning in. He's just recently contributed to the site, but he's been the guy I've known for the past 6 years, and we've like together kind of really gotten into all this information and tried doing something about it. But all's good. I'm down in Georgia. I don't know if we've talked about that at all, but other than downtown Atlanta, things over here are actually pretty normal relative to what I've heard outside, other places in the country. My band still plays shows. You can still go out and do, normal stuff. And um, again, unless you're in the city, no one really gives you a lot of slack for not wearing a mask or doing dumb, obedient things like that. But yeah, so all was pretty good. How about y'all?
Good to hear. Yeah, I feel you on the city thing.
Yeah,
Good thing
yeah.
I'm out of the city, so I don't have to worry too much about that. I'm good, thank you. Um, yeah, how are you guys, Gus and Techno Liberty? I feel like should I just call you Techno Liberty, or is there something else I should call you?
I guess you can call me Alex.
Okay, Alex. All right, I'll try to remember that one. Shouldn't be that hard. How are you?
Hey, my name's Ivan. I'm here with Nico as well. Just want to chime in. What's up, guys?
Who is that? I'm sorry.
It's his friend he said was going to be here.
Okay. Yeah, I think I see Techno Liberty. I see you, Alex. Sorry, and I see Nico. I see you both on Instagram. I think you guys are there a lot because I know there's a lot of good memes and stuff on there. Not bad social media. Not as at least as toxic as Facebook, even though it's owned by the same people. But uh,
Right, right.
but no, I do see you guys on there. I'm barely on it, but when I do, I'm like, oh wait, they're posting. Um, Gus, do you do any social media in particular? Create any content?
I quit all social media a long time ago.
I don't
Mainly
blame you.
just watch YouTube videos and only thing I'm on really is Discord, Matrix, and Keybase on occasion.
Okay.
But don't make any. I don't produce any content. No.
No, that's all good, dude. You don't have to worry about that. It's good. I mean, as long as you're doing the change you can in real life, if you care about it, right? I mean, then you're gonna put out some sort of work, and it doesn't have to be in the same form that everyone else does it.
Yeah, talking in person just seems like it gets the message across a lot better instead of having it be like a one-way conversation like a YouTube video, you know?
Exactly. I agree. And I've been having that a lot more lately too. I used to post like every day on YouTube, like all the health videos and stuff. But it's better to just let the content flow to you naturally, in my opinion. And just produce. What you see is important. Like right now, I'm focusing more on like documentary type of style videos. My next video is going to be on minarchism. If you know what that is, it's like limited government and sort of going over all the arguments that are made for it. Because I figure, I run into people day to day life who I do talk to in person, and if they have certain concerns, I can address it all in one video, and that allows me to save time that I don't have to talk to them about. They can just watch the video instead. So there's certain things I'm like, well, I could use both. I could take my in real life conversations and learn from that to make videos.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the ways I've kind of been the way I like to do the great work and how I do the alchemy and anarchy shows. I actually like making these really short, like 5 to like maybe a little less than 10-minute videos, is because I'm trying to take a little less daunting approach than Mark Passio, because sometimes Mark Passio screams so much in rage. I think people tend to kind of don't really listen to what he has to say, and just hearing him go, listen to all 236 episodes of the podcast in order, and how they can be like an hour and a half to 3 hours long can be a very daunting process. And I'm about to start episode 42.
Yeah. I bet most people on this channel hasn't really done that, to be honest. For all the...
Dude, 42 entries, man. 42. That's still awesome. Keep it up.
Yeah, that is really good though. I mean, because I learn a lot anytime I hear from him. I mean, because to me, he's stating it as it is, and tone of voice to me doesn't bother me. I look at the information. That's just a lot of people nowadays are very emotionally driven. Everything they see something bad on the news, they're like prompted to action just purely based on emotion without the analytical thought. So I can see why the emotion is one of their number one triggers if it's a bad emotion or so-called bad. But if you look past that and you look at the information for what it is, I think there's a lot of value to it. Even if it's not 100% correct, there's still value in it. Every information has that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And it's hard for a lot of people to get over not shooting the messenger. I would say, to further your point, like even mainstream media sources, mainstream media news sources, I use them as negative examples. I think, like you said, all streams of information have value. And I think there's a certain process of discernment that's required to extract that information and use it in a productive way.
Right. Now, just to be clear, we're just having a conversation right now because also I'm waiting on Mason Gleason again here because he said that he is going to come in here. So I might as well just wait a bit if you guys don't mind for him before like I start talking about other things. Because I love chatting about stuff too, but like it could also go on all day. I've been doing it all day. I'm like, man, I talk about about all the bad things that are happening in the world all the time, but what I think this is good for, this Discord, it gives us the opportunity to think about what we can actually do, since we all are pretty much on the same page, or at least I like to think that we are, being that we're like in the same community, or at least we have the same goals, right? Like, would you guys say you guys want freedom, pretty much?
Yeah.
That's the number one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good thing to hear. Well, I mean, because if I have to ask first, otherwise it's like, what are you talking about? It's like, okay, well, we got the principles down, we got that grounded, so we're good.
Yeah, we had kind of a meeting maybe 6 months ago, and kind of pulled together 6 of us, and one guy was like, oh, well, let me invite my friend. He's all into this stuff too. And we brought him over. We were all doing introductions, and the kind of like basic introduction was like, okay, well, how about everyone go around, tell their name, and kind of how did they wake up? And this dude, we kid you not, started with, I woke up this morning by having breakfast and putting my clothes on, and it was just downhill after that. But you kind of have to make sure that ground base is covered first.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, but see, I mean, there's plenty of Discords people can go to if they want to have these long philosophical, whatever they call it, debates. But I mean, I'm about trying to actually create some sort of change,
Yeah, I'm part of a Freedom Cell for my city, and that seems like it's a pretty good place for action as well, because a lot of people are like trying to learn ham radio stuff, gardening, rainwater collection,
Awesome.
tangible, useful shit. So if anyone hasn't gotten on there, would definitely highly recommend. But I imagine most people here know about Derek and Freedom Cells and everything.
Oh yeah, very important. Hey Mason, welcome, man.
What's going on, guys?
Wow.
Hey.
Did your
Hey,
microphone get better?
Mason, I want to let you know that you're also one of the other people who inspired me to make the Alchemy and Anarchy show. I saw your "You Can Only Save Yourself" video, and I felt like if I can I can start making PowerPoint videos too.
Oh, wow. That's awesome, man. You're the first person to tell me that I've inspired them. That's awesome.
Mason, you released those videos. I mean, I had to put one on my channel. Of course, you're inspirational. At least you're doing something, man. You're putting something.
Yeah, I
out
need
there.
I need to come up with some new presentations. It's been a long while since I put those out. I
but the best part is they're universal and timeless.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I was just checking because I post on YouTube, BitChute, Brighteon, and Library, and I've actually found that I'm getting more views on like the alternate. YouTube's the main one I focus on just because that's what most people use. But I actually have gotten more views on all my presentations and uploads on the other sites.
Yeah. So Mason has
without promoting them either. So
yeah. I mean, you're awesome, dude. Like you've been here every single meeting. You guys need to know that. Like Mason's a troop. He's honestly really he's always there. He's always striving to do better. So good dude.
So how long have y'all been doing these meetings for? Is this like a weekly thing, a monthly thing?
I mean, probably since like last August or September, I think it's been
Okay.
for a while. We haven't been doing them consistently since then, but that was when we first started doing them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we were consistent a little bit then because that was like when it was first starting out, and we had all these people come in from not the One Great Work Network, but What on Earth Was Happening, their Discord, right? That's how I sort of recruited some people over here, and then from there, I got involved in the network, and now things are booming up again. Particularly toward the summer months is always when I get more active doing more things because I get to go out places and create more action steps and so forth. And that's when I'm like, I need to bring people together online, right? Because I've been getting people together in real life, and I'm trying to get Charlie in here so we can maybe start up on some different topics. Topics like I mentioned to them, Mason, already, like, we want to focus more on what we can do as we've been, and now that we have more people just joining in, it just gets better and better.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, it's all about getting more people to spread the word. That's how we get the word out there fastest. Is more voices involved. So. And speaking of the weather getting nicer too, and summer coming up, that's I'm really looking forward to that too. I've actually been saving all the signs and stuff that you sent me because I wanted to wait till the weather was nicer and more people were kind of out and about to go put them out, and then hopefully actually chat with some people, get some people to come up maybe that are curious as to what the signs mean, and then talk to people that way.
Yeah. And like I said to you, Mason, feel free to hold, whatever meetings you want to hold on this Discord. Like, I appreciate that. Hey, Charlie, you're welcome. You're here.
I think I figured it out. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Beautiful.
Awesome. All right, so we got a bunch of people in here. Is everyone okay, first of all, with me recording?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to make sure. Now, we were chatting a little bit beforehand, Charlie. Just I was asking some information, like just general questions. We did a little bit of intros, but if you guys just want to go briefly over it. Charlie, you want to start since you're on the top of the list?
Oh, geez. All right. Put all the pressure on me. I see how it is. And I'm only kidding.
I know you're in real life, so I can do that.
It's all good, brother. Greetings, everyone. As Corey said, my name is, I go by Charlie Stecker. I'm originally from South Philly. Currently live in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania. Was introduced to this whole, I heard about natural law years ago, but didn't really fully, I was ignorant to it and ignorant about it, not wanting to learn more because I thought I had enough. But then I ran into Corey a few months back, a while back now, and just was really intrigued with what he was sharing with me, and since then has been really delving a lot more into it and grasping it. I'm my full-time job, I'm a housing counselor and executive director of a nonprofit, and I also run a child abuse intervention and prevention task force nationally and internationally. And I'm in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania, not too far from Corey right now.
Nice. Thanks for telling everyone my location. No, I'm just kidding. Good job. So, awesome. Charlie's
I know where you are.
Well, if you can find us in the Pocono Mountains, come on up. It's a big place.
We're all
And I wish I was up in some mountains. I'd rather be in the mountains than in the heart of a big city.
What city are you in?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
I've been out there quite a few times.
Yeah, Charlie has been really a good example for a lot of like the different topics that we'll be mentioning here. Like when it comes to action, and you can just tell with the things that he's involved with, right? With the child abuse, he's fighting lawsuits. He's going to protests. He's doing all the things that the best advocates, I think, activists can do. He's really trying his best. So he's not pushing the limits, he's really just guiding people, I guess, in the right direction, and he meets people face to face who I guess needs to help, and that is really important for any situation. So I think Charlie's a perfect example of somebody who has the dedication, the courage, the open-mindedness, and the willingness to change and to create change. They're both. So because they're both coincide. So in order to create a change, we need to somewhat, change what we're doing, right? We need to change the way the world works, and change who we're talking to. And meeting Charlie definitely helped change things for me. I met somebody who also helped inspire me, and if I inspired him, I mean, he definitely inspired me too. So I appreciate you, Charlie. And Gus, you wanna introduce yourself?
I'm just a 20-year-old in Tennessee who's in school and working part-time in retail, just trying to learn what I can.
Oh, Gus, this is Charlie. You're not just anything. You are yourself, and you're a unique individual. So don't let. And if I apologize, I don't know you from a can of paint right now, but when I hear somebody call themselves as just, you're as significant as anyone else, brother.
I understand what you mean, but that's not quite what I meant.
Okay.
Well, you
Where
guys
at
all
Tennessee
unique
are
human
you?
beings, so
If you don't mind sharing.
sorry, what?
I was asking him like where at in Tennessee he is, if he doesn't mind sharing.
About an hour outside of Nashville in a city called Dixon.
Is that which way, like north, south, east, west of Nashville?
Nashville.
Okay, cool. I was just asking because another guy who he sometimes joins in on these meetings, Ronnie Ross, he's from he lives in Tennessee. Yeah, he lives just west of Nashville, actually, so he's probably not too far from you. Him and his wife.
Cool.
Yeah, he's awesome. Ronnie's great. I still keep contact with all of them, by the way, Mason.
Yeah, me too. I talk with Ronnie actually. We talk to each other multiple days a week usually. So
That's awesome. Yeah. So, Mason, we'll just do a quick intro for the new people that are here.
sure. So I'm Mason Gleason, as my name says right there, and I didn't really start getting active, and trying to inform people of natural law until last year. I started putting out presentations. I think it was like in September, I think, is when I put out my first one of last year. And, I've kind of been in the know, I guess you could say. Excuse me. I've kind of been in the know since early 2017. But I guess with all that has happened in the past year with the, in the world, I realized that it was time to start getting involved. So, and speaking of people who inspired us, Corey was one of the big inspirations for me, because one of the things that really held me back is being young. I'm 24, but I was like, oh wow, Corey's even younger than me, and he's out there, putting out information, doing the work. So, because I just always had this, I don't know, insecurity maybe, or just thought that people wouldn't take me seriously or listen to me because I'm young. Just because I find that a lot of people, or at least I've found that a lot of people don't want to listen to a younger person tell them how it is, I guess you could say. But I realize that more than ever, that doesn't really matter. What matters is the information, and people can take it or leave it. So
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Nico, it's your turn.
All right. So my name's Nico. I'm also 24, so it's nice to hear that there's a lot of younger people trying to get active and involved. I guess I've been around this information probably since I was like 16. Like, luckily, both my parents are, well informed, and kind of I grew up like not being afraid to like explore all this information and be having someone close to discuss it with. But then kind of like, what Mason described really this past year with the pandemic, and I probably got really deep into Mark Passio's stuff, honestly, like 4 or 5 months ago, and hearing him constantly batter into my brain, like, do something about it, start a website, create presentations, do something, that really kind of lit a fire under me to go, okay, well, even if, I get one viewer a day on the website, who gives a shit, as long as, because I know that that's the right thing to do, to put it out there. So that's kind of what I've been up to. My professional indoctrination comes from a Georgia Tech electrical engineering degree, but I have that going on along on the side. I'm a big musician as well, but I also have my buddy here, Ivan. I'll go ahead and let himself introduce him.
Awesome. Ivan.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm here in Georgia with Nico. I woke up to this information when I was about 19. I'm 27 now. I've been really awake and aware for, I guess you could say, active for like the past 4 or 5 years. I had a YouTube channel. I did two YouTube videos, several blog posts, and I'm very active in my social life and talking about this and getting just being vocal with my family and not backing down in public situations and actually putting the information in front of people. So that's the way I've been trying to spread the word. I'm not too familiar with Mark Passio. Nico got the ARC, and so we're kind of like going through it right now. So that's kind of my exposure to Mark Passio. I did some research into him in the past, but not a substantial amount. But anywho, I'm super excited to be here. I'm young, and I'm so glad that we're all here, awake and aware, and trying to do something.
Awesome. Yeah. So far, I guess we're all younglings here. It's not a bad thing, right, Charlie? I said that on purpose.
Yeah, because so far, let's see, I add up to about 3 of you added together.
Yeah, Charlie's a young dude. You don't know what's
It's all
behind the screen.
It's all a mindset. It's all a mindset. That's all.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I'm going to age, but I'm never going to get old.
That's the good thing about technology. Is I don't know how old you are. I see you as just everyone else. So it is what it is. But yeah, no, awesome intro. It's cool that you have somebody else on there on the line with you too, Nico. That's really cool. Um, and Alex, I know you're probably waiting to go, so you can go, man. Probably in suspense the
Hi,
whole time.
hi. I'm Techno Liberty 42. Currently, I'm 21 years old. And basically back in late 2017, early 2018, I started off as this very normie ANCAP, and I started waking up due to Larkin Rose. I started drilling through his videos. Then I eventually read his book, The Most Dangerous Superstition, which completely disintegrated government to me. Then I just kept reading Murray Rothbard and other Austrians like Ludwig von Mises, Henry Hazlitt. Then in around it was November 2019. I'll never forget that month because that's when I eventually stumbled upon Mark Passio with his very, very first 4-part video series. Is that I was able to find those videos because I was like grinding through an ANCAP playlist video, and Mark woke me up to like a bunch of other things. He really hammered the concept of objective morality into me, and he really blew my mind with the cosmic abandonment stuff. And then it's funny because it's like going through Mark Passio, it was like this fresh breath of fresh air for me to start doing the great work, and it's just shocking how the world just suddenly goes into lockdown mode, and I'm like, I have the stronger urge to fight, and yet we even see some freedom advocates who are like, oh, the government's telling the truth this time, just do the lockdowns. And I'm like, these are the same people who said, 9/11 only happened just so that the government can justify the Patriot Act, and I'm just going to keep doing this no matter what. Then when Mark said, I'm officially done, that was an inspiration for me to start doing the WordPress. And when I saw Mason Gleason do PowerPoint videos, I decided to say, you know what, I'm going to start making videos too. And the only reason why I haven't been too focused on content lately is just the world is so crazy, and I don't beat myself up if I'm not getting as many views as I want. I've just been spending a lot of time exercising and just burning off stress that way.
Awesome. Dude, that's awesome. You got to do what makes you happy, and if it is producing content out there as well, and feeling like that is, you have a moral obligation to share it, and that's part of it because you feel like you have to put something out there as well. It's good. Look, 1 or 2 people see it, as I think was it Nico that mentioned it? Yeah. He said he was only getting like 1 view or so. Like that's not a problem. Your numbers will only keep increasing over time. It's not gonna decrease. So to see it as such, you could only keep going, and as long as you never give up, you'll be fine. And even if you have some downfalls, it's okay. You could always get back up. So it's like learn to walk, right? So.
Funny you say learn to walk because the past few days now I've been trying to learn how to handstand.
Yeah. So, no, I love the passion though that I hear. I really like that. The fact that you guys are inspired to do something is like definitely already a first motive, first incentive that says, okay, maybe I'm ready to start taking action in different ways. And find out what that is for myself. So I kind of will ask probably questions along those lines, and we'll go from there. Believe it or not, like I mentioned in the beginning, it's not going to be like a usual like, okay, well, let's just debate philosophy and go into the depths of detail. But here we're actually trying to find out what real solutions we can actually make. Because I mean, let's face it, all day, I'm talking to people about what's wrong with the world, but when we can gather like-minded folks who already understand that knowledge, who are already grounded in the principles of freedom, then all we have to do from there is, well, bring that to others. And that's essentially putting it into action. It's not actually action, it's actually maybe just education, maybe just conversation, right? Even Larkin Rose said the solution. He has a video called The Solution. It's just him saying, well, talk to your neighbors. So it's not some grand movie thing where the boss defeats the other and everybody takes up arms to the state. Maybe it's just as simple as some conversation. So what do you guys think about that? Maybe as a start, right? What do you guys think? What actions are you doing currently? What actions do you look to do? Maybe other questions along this line is maybe some actions you want to do but are unable to do, or actions you know you should do but are not doing. So anything along those lines, we'll start with Charlie.
All right. Put me right on the spot. And that's okay. I've always believed no matter how much I do, there's more I can do. And some people tell me I do more than they don't know how I can possibly keep up with it all. I think in the area of natural law is really getting it, really diving into it in a consistent manner. I tend to I dive in, and then when I get out, I don't go back for a while again. As opposed to, I don't have to dive into the deepness of it. I need to, as I'm sitting here with a word picture in my head, it's okay to stay in the shallow end, but stay in the shallow end and stay in it. That way, you're consistently, I'm consistently absorbing what's going on around me, as opposed to doing what I tend to do, which is dive in, go to the depths, and then come back up, and then maybe go back in a couple weeks. So I think. Yeah, I think as I sit here thinking about what you said and what I can do in my area of improvement, and I believe in my life anyway, the only room in my life that I always have extra space is a room for improvement, and I see the benefits of what natural law is, the nature of it, and it's just a matter of me really just staying disciplined and realizing that it's okay to hang out in the baby pool for a while. You don't have to dive into the deep water until you're ready to go over into that. So that's my thing. So that's where I'm at with it. I hope that enlightened or said something to somebody.
Sure, yeah. So, I mean, you don't have to use like the most complex terminology either, right? I mean, if we're talking about freedom, it's not something we necessarily have to go into the depths of understanding to understand, right? Perhaps do you think maybe people have an attachment or an understanding of freedom without having to use these terms necessarily?
I think they generally no. I think it would be nice if they did, because we've had too many generations of programming, and it's deprogramming the programming. So I think some people don't even realize, in my opinion, based off my exposure, what natural really is. Unnatural has become so natural that so it can be discouraging, and at the same time, not for me. I pull out through it, but so I know I'm answering without answering, but that's kind of my answer. I don't have a definitive spot on it, except to say that I really think that what I'm learning more about this is like, wow, how cheated I was some 40 years ago, 50 years ago when I was in school, that they didn't teach these things. They didn't teach real. We were programmed to believe certain things. We were programmed to believe, 1 and 1 only can add up to 2.
What would you say your main action step is that you currently partake in, that you think is effective as well?
Well, my number one action step right now is promoting. Well, it's funny. I was going to say promoting what you're doing, but by promoting what you're doing, which having your flag out there so it generates conversation. It's not necessarily promoting what you're doing; it's promoting the tools that you're providing so that I can do what I need to do. If that makes some sense out of it all, it does to me. So. It's you're providing me the tools, like the day that we met. We're all the messengers of the message, and so you're providing me a tool to be able to utilize that and have it out there and generate conversation from it. Which is then, matter of fact, today across the street, the guys across the street wanted to know what's that all about. So I told them, well, here you go. Go to this website and you'll learn what it's about.
Yeah, I mean, that is a way to do it, right? Is you bridge the information by first starting off with something that might be appealing or something that might spark their interest so they can look into it deeper. Yeah, so I totally understand that approach. That's cool. Is there any actions in particular you want to do more of in the future, or anything you look to do?
Yeah, I guess I'll just kind of make it a little plainer to understand. I need to make sure that I keep myself in the waters of this, as opposed to just dipping in and then dipping out. In other words,
Okay.
I don't need to go all, jet force right in and then later on back out. I need to go ahead. It's okay to float around and let myself, and then not get back out. That way I'm constantly immersed and absorbing more, even though at probably a slower pace is actually better, because then you retain more and you can utilize it better. So that's for me. That's what I need. Going back to that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, Cronald, which is Ronnie. That's Ronnie. Hey, Ronnie, you there?
Yeah, what's up?
How's it going? So I know you came in a little later. It's all good. I know that you've been to these meetings before, so I can probably just quick like fill you in. You're you probably know how this type of thing works. But we start off with some basic introductions, and now we're talking about perhaps the actions we're taking currently within our own lives, and what actions you look forward to in the future. Perhaps maybe what actions you know you should do but aren't doing, or actions that you're unable to do but want to do. What are your thoughts on any of that? Also along the lines of maybe, is conversation effective when it comes to delivering this information? As Larkin Rose says, the solution is just, talking to other people. What do you think about that?
Yeah, when it comes to talking to other people, I guess it'd be nice to figure out like a questionnaire, I guess, like a quick 2-3 questions, and then you could see, is this even worth my time? Or is this going to be, someone who's not receptive at all and is just going to make fun of you? Because it seems like no matter how peacefully I come at it, no matter how rationally I come at it, no matter how many facts I have to back it up, people still don't believe me. People still don't want to hear it. Now, granted, I did have a breakthrough. I just got fired 2 weeks ago from my job, and the girl that worked with us, a girl in construction, very rare, but she was like, she's like, I don't have anyone to keep me up to date with what the truth is. And I was like, wait, what? I thought I was just the crazy conspiracy guy. And she's like, well, yeah, you were, until a bunch of shit you were saying started coming true. I was like, oh, wow, damn, I planted a seed. How cool is that? And that whole time I didn't even realize it. But yeah, I mean, it's just having that hard, you just, I don't know, picking your audience. I mean, that's all it is. I mean, Larkin Rose is right. That's all it is talking to people. It's just, oh man, it's just when people start thinking with their emotions and they start to get irrational, then you've lost the conversation. It's over.
Right.
At that point.
We
Or
were
if,
talking about that too before, because Alex, which is Techno Liberty, he was saying that, people get off on like on when Mark's anger, when they hear him getting angry, they start, not wanting to listen to what is being said. So it's sort of an emotional thing. And I think, what the media has done often, perhaps, I don't know if you agree with this, but it often plays on our emotions, right? We're constantly in fear, and so the emotions are dictating our actions rather than the information.
Oh yeah, especially now, man. I mean, it's just nonstop fear porn. I mean, wasn't there there's like some weather cycle that's coming up. There's some storm, or yeah, I think it's what's going on right now. There's supposed to be some tornadoes in Alabama and stuff. I mean, it's just nonstop, like fear, be afraid, be scared, and
yeah. Now it's interesting you mentioned have a couple questions, maybe that are like really powerful, maybe open-minded, just questions that you can ask someone to see if they're any interested in the conversation. Maybe it's directly targeting morality, maybe it's directly targeting rights. And if they have some interest in that conversation, then perhaps they would be somebody who really wants to look into something. And then if there's somebody who really wants to look into it, then it's a sign that they're more likely to be vocal about their decisions. They're more likely somebody who likes to get out there and take action in different ways. So, I mean, those are the people.
Corey, do you have any questions that you could think of offhand for someone like me?
Yeah, so I actually I created a sheet, right? A question sheet actually for natural law. And I have both a question sheet and a test sheet, which the test sheet, of course, is also questions. And the question sheet is before the test because you learn through questions, and you could also test yourself through questions. So I actually have both those sheets if you're interested. It's on nita.one/learn. I'll put in the chat.
Yeah, I think. Shit, now that you mention it, man, I think I did look at that, and I just never printed it off. Yeah.
So you can probably take like 3 main, like really powerful questions from that, and maybe use that in public. I mean that's just an idea I might actually partake in, is going up to people and asking them one of those questions and seeing if they're interested to talk any further, and seeing
Do you
what
know
they come
about
up with.
9/11? That's question one. Now.
Well, here's the thing, right? So we mentioned emotion, right? And if most people are used to emotional learning, or they're used to rote learning, which is repetitive learning and so forth, but emotional learning, let's look at the catastrophes that happened by government directly. So let's say it could be 9/11, but more obvious, I'd say, is genocide. What if you showed pictures of all the mass amount of deaths that happened in World War II alone? That would be, I would consider that to be an emotional havoc for people. I mean, what could be more devastating than that? And that shows the direct result of what governments can do. So when it comes to appeal, maybe that's something we want to include, and when I say we, I'm speaking for myself too, finding ways to bring this information to people.
This is Ivan with Nico here. I'm gonna chime in.
Sure.
I
What's
think,
up, Ivan?
hey. I think, Ronald, what you said, I think every individual, and this has just been my experience, 'cause I talk about this literally with everyone. You really have to tailor your approach based on the level of consciousness of the person. Like, for instance, like my girlfriend, wasn't interested in 9/11, wasn't interested in anything. But when we talk about Marilyn Monroe, because she was interested in Marilyn Monroe, that was my endpoint.
Oh,
Um,
right.
my parents really care about Barack Obama because my dad's black, so my dad, this is a I don't want to make it about race, but my parents really cared about Barack Obama. So I can talk about Barack Obama as an endpoint, like as a topic that they care about. For instance, I think if you bring up 9/11, I don't think you can use like the hammer approach with everyone the same question, because everyone's varying in their understanding, and they also have different priorities and what they care about.
Yeah, and that's
Right,
why I
right.
think democide is more of an impactful thing, just from my view, because it's more directive as the result, and people know exactly what caused it. What caused it? It was governments that fooled people that they were doing the right thing, and they did these shady things behind the scenes, or they got away with mass crimes that people didn't know about. People generally permitted it. So, I mean, what a conversation that would start is talking about, you know, people's obedience to authority and how they permit those crimes happening. And so, trust me, Ronnie, I mean, the ideas you mentioned are some of the things that I've been considering. I have some ideas that I might want to share with you guys, some new ideas that reached upon me. But let's say, so you have trouble with talking to other people about it, and I know if you've had this for like a while, and obviously it just comes with the creed, right? If you're speaking the truth, I think it's somewhat inevitable you're going to run into people who
Yeah, well, Corey. It's like I said several times. It's very. When I woke up, I was like so grateful that it's like I almost have this disconnect. I'm like, wait, but you were told 2 + 2 = 5. Man, I'm giving you the equation. 2 + C, you got 2. Now you got 2. Now you got 4. You should be rejoicing. I'm like put off by people being. I'm like, dude, I'm like liberating your mind. You should be thanking me.
Yeah,
See, we gotta
They don't
spread the word.
realize that's what you're doing, though. That's the issue.
yeah.
We
I
got-
think we have to step on their level. Anyone, if you're having a conversation with anybody and you want them to understand more of where you come from, we have to try to find where their level is. And it can be hard as an outcast of society or somebody who sees things in a different way. It just comes natural with the call. So,
Yeah.
what would you say your main action is? Because I asked this to Charlie before. what would you say your main action that you see is really helpful when it comes to conveying these points to people? Being that you see conversation is so important, what is your main thing that you do see works? Is there something a strategy in particular that you see that works, or are you still trying to find what that strategy is?
Yeah, I'm on a call, honey. I'm trying to figure out the strategy, to be honest.
Okay.
Because I have the Mark Passio, as in like the last podcast he did, episode before that. Since I woke up, I've had that attitude since 2009 of like, wake up, it's time to wake up, we're running out of time. I don't have time to baby you. Like, yeah, I'm going to make fun of you. I'm going to call you a fucking idiot, a fucking retard. It's time to wake the fuck up, dumb fuck. Let's go here. Come on.
I agree.
And that's probably part of my problem, but it's like, I don't have time to baby you here. Like, like wake up or get the fuck out of the way.
So Charlie, I would be interested into seeing what you have to say about this, only because, I mean, it's not that, I sort of, when I think about this, right, I mean, if there's a child, right, I mean, I know it's a different situation, but we're kind of dealing with adult children in this scenario where they want power or they're too submissive, if not ignorant of their ways. So how do we deal with this? And Charlie, since you dealt with a lot of people and you have a lot more years of wisdom on your shoulders, what would you say about this?
Well, boy, give me credit for wisdom, huh? I may have a few more. I may have a few more years on Earth. I don't know about the wisdom portion, but that being said, I hear the passion, and I understand the urgency, most definitely, and at the same time, matter of Corey, you and I've had similar conversations, not quite as, there's a lot of people that need to wake up, but I think my philosophy is I leave no one behind. If I'm running a race and this is just me, I'm not saying other people to live their life this way. I'm running a race and I'm going to cross that finish line before everybody else, but I look behind me and people are struggling. I'm the guy that'll give up first place, give up second place, will come in last place to make sure that everybody gets across the line. But I do understand you reach a point where, I just, if you can't grab one right now where you are, I got to go. I got to do what I got to do. And we need people like that too. So I think it's a balance. I think it's wonderful that you have folks like that, because that's going to continue growing in the understanding. And then people like me that are going to be back there, and I'm drawing what you folks are giving me, and bringing it to the masses that are. And I don't usually use colorful language, but the masses that are acting like asses and not wanting to do what they need to do, especially, I think the ones that aggravate me the most are the talkers that don't walk anything. They sit behind their keyboards, they yak, yak, yak. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then when you call them out, when you're out there in the street, you're out there at an event, you're out there speaking, or just even being present, your mere presence can make a difference. And they don't show up. Those are the ones, they piss me off more than the ones that don't want to listen. The ones that pretend to be listening, but when it comes time to put traction behind their action, they don't do squat. Them I tell, see you later, I got no time for you. But that's just my approach on that. I hope I answered in a way that makes sense. It did to me.
Yeah. So I don't know, Ronnie, if you want to kind of tell your thoughts on that, but is it working for you? I mean, if you want it, do you want it to work? Like, do you want people to understand where you're coming from, or do you feel like you just don't? I mean, do you care enough to want to change them in a way? Am I saying, or is there a certain tolerance that you hit where you're like, I just can't anymore?
Well, I do that in my everyday business with what I do for So yeah, the answer to the question,
Ronnie, actually.
I apologize. Go ahead, Ronnie. My bad.
You're good.
Oh, no worries. I know I came in late, and then I realized I was kind of talking a lot there, and I was like, oh shit, you're gonna be like, who the fuck is this guy? But anyway, yeah, it's like, I'm such an empathetic person. I'm just like, I mean, I can remember being at Bonnaroo 2011, the first time I ate LSD, and staying up till 7 o'clock in the morning and watching the sunrise, and my buddy went to bed, and I'm still like tripping hard. And then I start thinking about the Iraq War and the Afghanistan War, and then it hits me. I'm just like, those people over there, despite whatever they may believe in, are just trying to do the same things I'm trying to do. They're trying to find them a woman, have children, raise a family, and live their life in peace like everybody else. I was like, so that in and of itself shows how wrong what we're doing is over in those countries. Well, I say that to preface this. It's like I have 3 or 4 really good friends that 2020 has really broken and destroyed our friendship because it's like I'm trying to do what Marx told people. I'm trying to do what Christ told people. About I'm what's that passage that Mark cites is Matthew something, just like about the passage that's I did not come here to make family and friends be friends. I'm here to turn a son against his father, and if a sister against her mother, and all. The point of that,
I brought a sword thing.
Right? Yeah. The point of that is that Christ represents truth. And how Mark explained it so well. You should turning the other cheek is bringing the truth over and over and over and over to your friends and your loved ones. If you truly care about them, you will tell them the truth and you won't sugarcoat it. Well, I've been doing that in 2020, especially because I was like, now's the time to really start ramping shit up. And I had the total opposite effect. It just ruined friendships. And it's like, do I still care about that? Do I still care about them unconditionally? I do, but I've hit a wall with some of these people that it's like, you know what? Until they change, fuck them is how I feel about it now. And yeah, I am a little bitter about it, but I feel like I have every right to be bitter about it. It's like, dude, I've been trying to tell. It's like I've been trying to tell you guys for the last fucking 10 years, and you've nonstop said I'm fucking crazy.
I mean, as long as you don't give up, right? I mean, because you care about it, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just, again, it's like, I hate to like get into the echo chambers, but I tell you what, meeting all of you and having these meetings and stuff and having these echo chambers from time to time when we're just like, talking about all the bullshit in the world, it's fucking been great for me because I haven't had that. I mean, me and my wife, granted, my wife is the one who showed me Mark Passio, so...
Well, I have a question. I mean, you want to follow your own conscience as well, right? I mean, Mark is going to deliver things in his own way as well, and I think a lot of people might look up to Mark, but also we have to be careful not to, copy his ways either. We each have our own different environments and people to talk to. Philadelphia, can ask Charlie, because he knows Philadelphia well. The people there are going to be different from, I'm sure, where you live. And, the New York mentality is you tell it like it is. That's not going to work everywhere else. You can see why people got so alarmed when Trump started talking the way that he does, is because it was different. It was more of like a New York tone. Just that alone was enough to turn people off. You see what I mean? So even though you can be promoting the truth, the appeal in the process is so important, and I don't mean to stress on it. I only mean to highlight it as an essential factor in delivering the truth. Not that the truth cares about how you deliver it, but the people unfortunately do.
Yeah. Do you mind if I chime in here?
Oh yeah, go for it.
I was gonna say, what in response to Ronald and Corey, with Ronald, you just gotta pick your battles. It's just how much do you value the other person. But for me, I prefer the planting seeds approach. It's my responsibility to continue to present situations that force the other person to at least consider and or think about this topic of freedom mentality, natural law, anything that advances them consciously. And if they're already not exposed to it or open to the information, I have no problem, I guess you could say, being more emotional or being more visceral in how I communicate to make it a more impactful experience. So when they go home, they say, oh my God, honey, this person yelled at me about this thing. And now they're forced to think about it again. And so I think, there's like a soft approach and a brass knuckles approach. I think there's times for both. And I think both can be appropriate.
I think also making it known to people that you're having these discussions with, especially particularly people that you're close with, is, if you're not getting, because I have many close friends and family that just, they're like, Nico, I know what you're saying, you're probably right, but I just don't give a shit. I just want to make my money. I want to live in my house. I want to stay with my wife and kids and go on vacations and all this stuff. So I really don't care. And, that even as that's kind of like a lighter version than someone just completely shutting you down and calling you crazy and stuff. But in both situations, I think it's also important to vocalize and make known that, look, you have free will. Totally do that. I'm not going to force you to change your actions or your thoughts, because it never goes over well. But to always remain available and kind of like, because I tutor kids a lot, like, in my free time. And a lot of times they'll just kind of sit there silently, waiting for the answer, for you to tell them the answer. And it's like, well, okay, I'll ask them, do you know what's going on? Do you need help? Like, yes. Okay. Well, I need you to vocalize that. Tell me you want help. Tell me you have questions. I'm here for that, but I'm not going to do the homework for you. So, my 2 cents.
And I'd say those are fantastic points. And Ronnie, you have a child of your own too, right? So
Yeah,
not
can
saying
you
to view
hear
the
her?
whole world through that lens, but
Yeah, I can
like I
hear a
said,
little kid in the
adult
background.
Hold on,
children.
I'm gonna go downstairs. So hold on.
Okay, all good.
Sorry. All right, go for it.
I wasn't saying that like you view the whole world through the lens of like we're dealing with children, but at the same time we are dealing with adult children. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. But Ronnie, something that does alarm me, I want to mention. And I don't know if you wanted to respond to Nico. If you wanted to, you can go ahead. But something I wanted to ask you. You said this is your only like outlet, or at least the echo chambers online, your only outlet to sort of get away from that, or to speak to like-minded people and sort of release it. But I met Charlie, right, and I was lucky to. And he says the universe brought us together, and I can agree with that in a way, because we attracted each other. And the thing is, I think you can do the same thing, and you can find the people that will agree with you, or the people who are at least open-minded. They don't have to agree with you on day one, not whatsoever. Why should they? We're all just human beings. We shouldn't even have to go out there promoting the truth. We should already be free. There's so many dichotomies just like that. But I'm sure we can get along just as human beings. So I'm sure there's somebody that's at least human that you either know or you can maybe get in touch with. Like for Charlie, I met him at a libertarian club. I didn't like the libertarian club, but I like Charlie. So what does it matter? I got to hang out with him, and now he's great. He's putting out action. He's learning natural law, which I don't think he was exposed to that information before. And so the work is getting done on bringing this information to people and to educating more. Have you ever tried reaching out to your local communities, Ronnie?
I haven't. And it's funny too, because I've deleted Facebook in 2017, and I've been trying to sell shit on Craigslist for the last 2 or 3 years, and I've always had really good luck on Craigslist, and it's just been like nothing. So I just was like, well, fuck it, I guess I'll just make a Facebook, because everybody's on the damn marketplace. So it's funny. It's like now I have a Facebook again, but where all these groups are, and that's the thing. It's like Mason and I have talked, and Mason's, might move down here and live with us for a while till he finds a place. And it's like I have friends they're just spread out, and it's just annoying that it's like, man, it'd be nice to have some people that understand this, that live here.
Well, you can try going online for local events. And like meetup.com was a good source. Like I gave some resources a while back. Did you look into Freedom Cells? Because I know
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Yeah, well, when we had a Freedom Cells, Barbara's actually the one, my wife is the one that's like running the Middle Tennessee Freedom Cells page. So
but you have trouble finding people, or?
Yeah, well, we did a meetup. We already did one meetup, and then haven't been able to schedule another one. But one person came, which was cool. We met him.
Start.
Interesting guy. He was he was wide awake. I was like, damn, this guy's cool. But
Oh, there you go. I mean, you got to find them. I mean, if you got to search long, hard. I mean, I think you'll find them in unexpected places, though. It's not always like in the most obvious, like freedom cells. Like I think some of the best people you'll find in just random areas, especially if you deliver your insight, which you do have, dude. You are inspiring. You are able. You have the fire and the energy. So some people will look for that, especially in maybe city areas. I'm not sure. Maybe you got to find the right environment for that. But like I said, Philadelphia, they're more like get to the point type of people. They're busy, ongoing people, and I don't know. They might express more anger than people who are more laid back country folks. So I'm not sure. Where, but you may want to like take some time for yourself and set out like your target crowd. Who is it that I should reach out to? Libertarians for me was at least some sort of avenue. I knew I could work with it because it's like, well, they're not left or right, so they're kind of hopeless. They're not really getting anything done. They're probably looking for some sort of change, I imagine, and so something could be done, right?
Yeah.
So may I say something?
Sure.
So Ronald, when you went on your little rant about how you're so bitter and angry, that has been one of the most relatable things I have heard for a long time now, and I even think I needed to hear that for myself, just to know that I'm not the only psycho in this house.
Yeah. Well, and the bitterness, I mean, it's gotten so bad that I'm just like, at this point, I'm on Bill Gates' side. I'm on Fauci's side. Fuck them. Kill all the sheep. Who needs them? It'll just be us standing at the end.
Yeah.
And then we can actually do something and fight for freedom and destroy the fucking government. So get rid of them. Go on. Go on now.
And something I just couldn't help myself from doing is, in the last few episodes of What on Earth is Happening, Mark Pazio buys all this clown equipment. He buys a whistle and a clown horn. Well, I bought my when triple maskers talk, this is what they sound like.
Yeah, real quick, want to butt in. Ivan and I have to run. We got to take care of some stuff, but just wanted to say it was a pleasure talking with all of y'all. It's nice to, hear other people around the country doing the great work, got their minds right, heads screwed on right. But, we'd love to hear whenever this happens again. We'll definitely be back on. And,
Before you go, do you want to just mention like maybe some sort of thing that you would recommend to everybody, action step wise, something that they can do that you've been doing? I just want to make sure you get that out there.
Yeah. I think for me, big thing was freedom cells. And in my city in Atlanta, like it's a pretty good sized one. There's about 60 or 70 of us on our Discord.
Holy shit.
We went to I went to a meetup back in late January, and I want to say close to 20 people and a 1-year-old showed up. And it was, I think that was a great resource if you're, if no one's on there, definitely check it out. And if your city's not, doesn't have a big one popping off, like look around the area. I know, Ronnie, you said you're up in, Nashville. We're right now in Canton, Georgia, like up 75. So, basically a little over an hour from Chattanooga. So,
Look, I'd be willing to send you like flags or whatever resources you want. I mean, to share with the Freedom Cell group that you have over there, because like that's the type of thing that like if people have groups already set up, or they're setting up groups based on the movement, the two go hand in hand. If you have a movement to go along with all these groups, I mean, we already have a unifying bond, and I think it's important that we take Freedom Cells, and I mean, it's perfect as it is. It's great, how it's blueprint, but if we can unite the other freedom cells with a general grounding movement around natural law, I think it could be even more impactful, because then we have principles to stand by.
Right. And another thing too, this is kind of really simple, and it makes me feel good every day. Like simple actions like, walking into a grocery store or any business without a mask, or talking to someone and smiling at them and having like just a human interaction. Like today I bought some shoelaces, and the girl at the store was not wearing a mask. And I got this from Ivan here. I told her, I said, hey, your mask looks great on you. It makes you look like a human being. Simple things like that to kind of like boost the confidence of people, because especially once they did the mask thing at the grocery stores, and I'd walk in and be the only person. I get eyeballs for sure, but and I'm sure the majority of them were eyeballs of like, oh, what are you doing? You vector of disease, get out of my sight. But I think a few of them, and I hope a few of them saw that and at least thought to themselves like, I don't know, like, I think this mask thing is stupid too, but I'm just doing it to get along. But like, hopefully that they saw that and that maybe it kind of like inspired them in a sense. So just kind of having it's really easy to get bogged down and kind of feel shitty about the current state of the world because it does suck. But that tends to make it worse. So kind of.
Oh yeah, you have to have some sort of faith in order to get out of that state of bondage, as it says in the Tailor cycle. So
Right.
I mean, so important. Thank you for being here and everything. I appreciate it. If I can just add one more thing to that, maybe just when you leave, the establishment or whatever, you just put a paper or something that just plants the seed even more, so that way they can read into it and look into it more. Because if you see you're making a whole scene and a lot of people are looking at it, and you drop a paper or a couple papers, at least somebody's going to look at it, and they might be really interested in looking more into what you have to say. So just saying, I think it's good that we bounce off each other here into saying what more could we do. Maybe you want to consider, a paper like the one I did with. It says masks are not the answer, and it goes through why by natural law logic. If you want, I'll put that in the chat. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Something like that might be cool. What do you think? And thank you. You can leave now if we're taking too long.
Yeah. No, I'll definitely check that out. But yeah, thanks guys. I don't know, Ivan, if you want to say something real quick.
Hey guys, it's nice to meet y'all.
I sent you a friend request, Nico.
Word, dude. I'll check it out.
Oh, that
And yeah, it was nice to meet you guys. And in terms of ideas, the only thing I really want to do is interview people, like live interview people, so you can put on display their ignorance. But other than that, that's it.
Yeah, if you need any help with that, equipment-wise or anything, feel free to reach out to me or even Charlie. I had to reach out for him for like a good camera, because I'm telling you, this summer I'm going to be doing stuff like that. So stay tuned, guys. I'll stay tuned.
That's what I need.
That's
Awesome.
great.
Corey,
Thanks so much, guys.
it's hard to keep up with you, Corey. You put out so much damn content. I'm like, God damn, this guy's working his ass off.
Well,
Thanks again, guys. Pleasure talking to y'all, and we'll be in touch soon.
thank you. I
Government
appreciate it.
All right.
Right
Take it
on,
easy.
Nico and Ivan. Have a good one, guys.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, so we'll continue here if you guys don't mind. So
I can go a little longer.
yeah, just a little bit longer. We don't have to go too long. I just figured, the more people usually, obviously, the longer it goes, just because I like to address things and come up with action steps. I can't just let like Ronnie's situation pass. Like I want to help the guy. He's a good guy. So just saying. So maybe, I don't know if my action step kind of helped you, Ronnie, a little bit, but I mean, if you can reach out to different communities, even ones that you don't think are on your side, I don't know, you might just find somebody there who is willing to listen. You see what I mean? I mean, you got to be willing and open to the possibility that can happen. Because again, we have freedom. So while we have freedom as we do, we have the possibility for more things to happen. Once those freedoms are gone, those possibilities go away. So it's either now or never. Frankly, you want to get it before the freedom goes away. You don't want to get it, when the freedoms go away. Yeah, sure, there'll be a lot of people desperate in need of help, and they'll be more awake to what you have to say. But if we can prevent harm from being done, it's better than just treating the harm that's being done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That makes sense.
that's how I view it. But
Corey, I did want to say, man, those things that you made, I think I'm gonna go print out a bunch right now. To be honest, I keep forgetting to print it out, but I'm like, I want to carry that in my pocket. So if anyone says anything to me, I just won't even say anything. I'll just hand them that and keep walking.
sure. And
Because
look,
that sheet is great.
yeah, I figured, I had to do something regarding masks. I'm like, this gets right to the root cause. Everything else is not going to address, what is the big elephant in the room, which is rights, our freedoms taken away. So I added some quotes on there too and stuff. You guys can read it. I send it in the chat. It's a photo. And in fact, I might put that somewhere on the website. Not sure where exactly, but If you go to nita.1/sheets, you'll also see an action step list, which we will go over like the next meeting. We can go over the action steps. There's like 310, and we'll kind of go over and see which ones interest you guys, and we'll go from there. So we'll have different approaches these meetings to kind of find out what we can do in our own lives. And it's cool that we can bounce off each other's ideas and try to innovate more, if you per se. Now, Gus, you're the same age as me, dude, so don't don't feel bad about anything. I mean, like you and I, we're just human beings. It's all good, because I know, you said you're just 20 years old. It doesn't matter, man. You're good. You're just like me. So, what's up?
Oh
What do you
man,
think
I
about
was
everything that's happened?
I was here thinking like everyone's like twice my age, because just about anyone else I talk to, at least around me, hometown and everything, anyone else who has an open mind and is really free, they're all like 20 to 60 years ahead of me in experience.
Mhm. Yeah. And I tend to get along with the old folks for that reason too, because I mean they've also lived through wars. They've seen more of what's going on, and the younger folks
Hey,
could either be more willing to learn or more ignorant of what's going on. But yeah, what's up, Charlie?
I was just going to say, you mentioned about wars, and Jack, part of it, I didn't introduce it. I'm also a veteran, and I saw the hypocrisy of the system when I served in the U.S. Coast Guard. That's why I only did my one tour and got out. I originally joined to be. I saw a system pretending to fight something that it was actually feeding to keep people under control, and that was from '82 to '86. So I got out of there. So I've been waking up since '86 when I got out, but I still find myself every day waking even more. So I definitely, definitely understand that.
Yeah. So Gus, do you want to share, and I don't know how long you have much time wise, if you're okay. I don't know. You can just share perhaps what you look forward to doing. I mean, look, we have plenty of years on our end. We can do a lot. So just look forward. Just keep your head high. And what do you think, action wise? Have you found out anything that works for you? Are you testing out different things, or are you just getting into it?
Well, I know that making fun of people and saying, "Oh, you're a fucking retard," that doesn't really work around here, even though that's normally my attitude toward things, but I've become a lot more patient. One-on-one conversations really work for me, and especially given that I'm normally kind of a social recluse. I'm not big on meetups and events, even though I do want to go at some point, but I just don't have the time at the moment. But
Okay.
I'll make it in the future.
Yeah. I mean, you can do things, even without the time. I'm sure you can probably do some small little things, and that's why we can go over like the action list, because there's like different sections in each part. Like for example, like Charlie mentioned it in the beginning. I mean, just having a flag or something that will redirect people who are interested to the information, to the education, is a powerful thing. I mean, because it will affect certain people, and people will look at it and be like, "What is this?" And if it sparks their interest, then they'll go. And by the way, Mason, I don't know if you saw, but if you go to the website, right, nita.1/share, I have different versions of the flag now, and I encourage people make as many different versions as they see fit, based on the original ideas, because we're just here to simply represent the ideas. We're not here to idolize any symbols or whatever. We're here to have those represent the ideas and bring people to those ideas, through which the symbol can represent the unification between all of us. So that might be something you want to consider, Gus. I could always send you something for free. Of course, if you're willing to give the address or anything, you could always get a P.O. box. You don't have to worry about your address. But anything that would maybe help people get that information in a subtle way that doesn't waste your time.
And nothing's really a waste of time for me. I just conversations, and normally I just send people to your YouTube videos or Mark Passio's lectures if I can't go fully in depth on a topic because I can't recall all the information. That's normally what I'll end up doing if they genuinely seem interested. And sometimes even if they don't, at least it's there for if they ever become interested in it.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea. I think a lot of people do that too. But I do also think, I mean, it's just part of what we have to try to do is try to find how you can connect to it yourself. So maybe you can convey those points. Because a video is great and all that, and that's why I do make them for those many reasons. But I think if you can also touch base on it on a personal level to some degree, like if you're dealing with the topic matter of freedom, which is often the case, there's some sort of degree of relevance or connectivity that you have to freedom yourself. And when you're in conversation with someone, maybe you want to find out what their interests are and then go based off of that. That's not going to require a video. In fact, a video might actually turn them off from the information because if you're connecting with them one-on-one and finding out what their interests are, you might be able to make an even greater appeal.
Oh, I always like offer to watch it with them and everything too,
Oh,
to
cool.
where it's not saying, "Oh, go figure it all out for
Yeah.
yourself," But yeah, I always just try and keep it in conversation, and occasionally I'll just like rewatch videos where points I just can't quite remember the wording
Yeah.
in a way that I like, and I try and put it in my own words too, so that way it's easier for me. But
Awesome. No,
one-on-one
dude, I mean,
conversation is the way to go. As long as I can help one person, I'm good.
yeah.
That's really the goal.
Yeah, and I mean, as long as you keep improving, right, and as this stands for all of us, as long as we keep improving on our language and the way we do things, we'll only get better as time moves on. Like Mark has been talking about these subjects for how long? 20 plus years or so. I mean, it's been quite a amount of time, and same with a lot of the other folks that we tend to follow. So just keep in mind, I mean, a lot can happen over years as long as you just keep practicing. For me, it's definitely been that. But like I'll practice, for example, even just in regular conversation with people who already know it, right? Like may it be Charlie, may it be my family, people who may already know it. I can use talking to them and just casually in different situations about different topics to sort of test my knowledge. I find a good way of retaining knowledge in sort of by telling a lot of other people about it, right? So if I see something like a video, I'm going to tell someone about it. Like to me, that helps retain my knowledge. That's just how it works for me.
Yeah, I used to touch base and talk with people about it a lot. And it was SO's server, Back Alley Philosophy. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them or not. But then they started a bunch of drama, calling everyone pedophiles and everything. So I just
Oh
left
my,
because that's just a waste of time.
Yeah.
oh my
So
God!
I've mainly
I
been just
had
kind
to
of hopping
leave
through
them.
servers, so just trying to find people who's not going to make that a talking point all the time.
Mm. Yeah, that's messed up. But is there anything? Did I ask this question already, or I'm not sure if you answered, but basically, what you look forward to doing in the future? Is there any like big plans or goals that you have in particular?
Well, in the my slave life, I just don't want to have to worry about money anymore. Just make enough to where I don't have to even think about it. But in my spiritual and higher life, I want to just help out as many people as I can.
Awesome.
Whether that can be going to events, which I want to go to, I just don't have the time at the moment.
Okay.
And then maybe meet some more people in real life that are awake, so that way I just don't feel isolated all the time.
Awesome. And look, we'll be here for you, so keep that in mind. We'll always be here for you when that time comes. Definitely, that is something. Time is not always on our side, and some things do take time. We can try to rush it and be like, well, we can do something, get it done immediately. That is a good mindset, but also certain things do need time to play out. And I'd say, especially since we are like more younger of age, I mean, certain things do need a little bit more time to develop because we're like head jumping start into the world and so forth. Especially if we just got deprogrammed out of high school or whatever, funded education system. So, yeah, is there anything else you wanted to mention before we go to Mason?
I can't think of anything. We can move on.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Mason, so bro, it's been you and I have always been talking on this stuff, and you said you made signs for this summer. I'm interested to hear what you got to do.
Well, I haven't made any of my own signs. I was talking about the signs that you sent me. I've been saving them for when the weather gets nicer. I would like to make some of my own though. I'm not. I don't have much of a artistic or creative side to me though, so I'm not sure how well I could make something like that and it not look like a 5-year-old did it. But but yeah, but I would really like to do more in person stuff. You know, I've reached out to some local because you recommended a while back in one of these meetings, reaching out to like libertarian groups or maybe some conservative ones because they tend to be a little bit more open minded. And I have reached out to local groups, but none of them seem to really be organizing or having any meetings. Because of COVID is what pretty much most of them tell me. So, and I've reached out, I've got on Freedom Cells, and I've connected with some people, but I suppose I could try and maybe organize something. But I don't know, a lot of people aren't very responsive on there that I have met. Like I've tried, messaging them on there and reaching out to people, but they either just take like weeks to reply or just don't reply at all. So I guess I've just kind of been struggling with finding a place to go or a group that I can go and try and, expose some people to the information. So
See, I think that's really important though. Like once you establish that, I think it's a good foundation. The only reason why I mentioned that is because like Charlie and I also know a guy named Mike. He actually, I think, came to these meetings sometimes. And he actually joins me on the roundtable meetings I do in another Discord. And he's great. Like I might join up with him this summer, but it's good to have people like him because then like if we want to film, like right, like I want to film in public, I want to do these interviews and stuff that we're talking about. I have a cameraman, and I can also be the cameraman for him, and we can like do things together, and that way it makes more collaboration. I mean, unless you have family members or other people, that's great. But
yeah,
I think at least have
that's what I
someone.
need too. Is I don't really have anyone else local to my area that I guess is like-minded and willing to. I know some like-minded people, but not any, I guess, that are really willing to kind of put themselves out there and help spread the information and go and talk to people. But I would really, I really want to do stuff like that too. Get a decent camera and then go out and try to do interviews with people and just kind of talk and
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess you don't necessarily need somebody. I could get a tripod for a camera and just set it up. But yeah. So as of right now, my only plan that I'm have in mind currently is to go and put up signs, try and find some good places to put signs up, and then hope that while I'm doing that, that maybe some people will approach me and I can talk with them. And I've also thought about printing out flyers even and trying to just post up flyers around town. Like I really like the masks and vaccines are not the answer sheet, the one that you just posted in the chat. I'd like to, like Ronnie was saying, print out some of those and just try and spread it around.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, so I mean, that's quite a bit already on your shoulders, so I'm not going to add anything more to that. I mean, like, I'm not going to be like, okay, well, maybe you should do this. No, and that's quite a bit, and I think that's quite a lot, frankly.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I mean, I've also been wanting to either make some more presentations or start a podcast, just to do more online content as well too. But I'm trying to. I guess I just haven't been able to come up with any new ideas, I suppose, because I want to be, because like you were mentioning earlier with, we don't want to all just be like copycats of Mark. And that's kind of how I felt initially going into it, is I feel like I'm just saying this, I'm just Mark 2.0, and I'm trying to kind of develop my own voice and, my own way of, describing things and putting things together. Because I don't want to just be like I said, Mark 2.0. I want to be myself.
Well, here's the thing. I think I have some ideas I might want to share with you later on after this, because I think you'd be really interested. Because I create some projects that I know I need other people's help with, whether it be online, making it online, and then using it in real life, or anything like that. I have some ideas. Like one of them is a brochure. We make a brochure with different statements from books, like The Most Dangerous Superstition, The End of All Evil, and maybe Obedience to Authority by Stanley Milgram. Like that would be maybe a good, just regular 3 books, and no more than like 5 pages, maybe even less. Just a regular brochure that people can read, and with like a really interesting headline, like how exactly we can get our freedoms back. No agenda, and there shouldn't be any plugging or anything, just maybe just like the symbol, like the flag at the end, just to throw in a little seed, and if people look close enough, they'll go to the website and look more into it. But like that way, we're not pushing anything in people's faces, and that's not what it's about, but we're just planting the seed for people to question authority. So if you'd be interested in joining that project, I need people to maybe help me get some quotes from those books, and I have online downloads.
I can definitely do that. The End of All Evil and Most Dangerous Superstition. I've probably read those 2 books more than any other. So
awesome. Yeah, so we'll just pick out select parts that are really powerful, and you guys can join in on this project if you guys want to. I mean, if we can try to perfect the brochure with like the perfect statements that will plant seeds to people, we'll just all hand out these brochures different places we go. And this was just one of my ideas that I wanted to share with you guys. Aside from sharing that mask thing, since it's relevant right now, or just introducing the flag in different gatherings, or just planting seeds in so many different places in so many different ways. Or like I said before, connecting freedom cells to a movement, which I think is essential, and I also detailed that in one of my presentations. So, dude, that's awesome. Podcast, presentation, freedom cells, signs. You got a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, I'm always looking for new places and things to do, and it's just unfortunately I've hit a lot of, I guess, cul-de-sacs or dead ends with a lot of things. So I'm just, I guess at this point I'm just kind of trying to think of stuff to do on my own, since I can't really find any groups to go to necessarily.
Yeah. That's a good idea, as long as you're motivated.
Maybe through doing that, I'll, kind of maybe create a little community and some people, and then, can build from there.
Do what will motivate you, man. Like something that will keep you going. You don't have to do all those things.
Right. No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm trying to do like all of that every day. It's just, those are just different options and routes I've pursued.
That's good. That's good that you see them there, and maybe that action step list will help too. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look at that. I should look through that. I think that would definitely be helpful.
Hey, we can look at that next meeting too. So don't worry if you haven't looked at it yet. So I'll finish off with Alex. Alex, man, how's it going? What actions have you been doing? What actions do you want to do? And I think we can wrap up the meeting after this, since we're going a little over time, but of course with more people and addressing different situations, I don't really mind.
I don't think I have any projects at the moment, simply because guess what Mason says, I'm kind of at a cul-de-sac, meaning I don't know what episode I'd like to hop on next. I'm thinking about doing a natural law and metaphysics episode, and because you brought up the masks and vaccine poster, I feel like I got a new way to combat against masks by saying debunking masks by both brain hemispheres. From a right brain hemisphere, we could say masks are wrong because they're a symbol of submission. From a very cold left brain analytic perspective, we can say masks only make it worse because A, you're cutting off your oxygen, which lowers the immune system, and secondly, you're just re-inhaling all the CO2 and bacteria, so long-term, you're only exacerbating the problem. And I guess some other things I'll get out of the way about myself is the way I like to teach freedom in general is that I try not to get too wrapped up saying, oh, it's the Rothschilds, oh, it's the Rockefellers, oh, it's this group or that group. What I try to get to the real cold chase of things by saying, you enslave yourself. What is that creepy old Rothschild going to do? He can't lift cars. He can't have laser eyes. He's just a harmless old man at the end of the day.
Dude, that was great.
Yeah, that reminds me of I think Michael something Michael Tessarian said. I believe it was in his Architects of Control documentary that I think a lot of people, when it comes to the conspiracy stuff, they focus on it's all about, oh, we've been sold a lie. But if you're sold the only way that the lie gets you when you're sold it is if you buy the lie. So really the question should be, not have I been sold a lie, but have I bought the lie? Because if we don't buy the lie, even if there's people out there lying, spreading misinformation, if we, choose not to listen to the lies or buy the lies, then we can't be controlled by them.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah.
a side note for now is that some of you may be wondering what my profile picture is. Basically, what I've created was a fusion between the Philosopher's Stone symbol and the Anarchist symbol. I decided to merge the symbols into one.
I like how creative you are, and I really appreciate that. I see that on Instagram. I see the captions and stuff. I like that, and the ideas that you have. I just want to let you know I really appreciate that. That was something I was stressing a lot in my presentations and different things that I was creating. If you just see a lot of my videos, a lot of it is based on like talking about the importance of creativity. We cannot move forward in the world without creativity. We need creative people like you. So that's good.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I guess an experience I have is I'm that one guy in the neighborhood who's always walking around the neighborhood because I hate being still for long periods of time. And at the park, which I go to every day, multiple times a day, there was like this Trump party thing, this QAnon anti-Biden thing. This one woman in a Trump tank top just started asking me, "What do you think about the sign?" One of the things it said was QAnon. Trump stole the election, and a bunch of other things. I say, well, I don't think it really matters at the end of the day because I think both of the political options are controlled opposition dialectics. And the woman's like, well, I think it matters. And I walk back to home and I tell my dad what I said to these people, and my dad says, I may understand what you may be saying about dialectics and controlled opposition, but most people aren't gonna understand that terminology, so you're gonna have to
Yeah.
simplify it a little more. Then
Yes.
I go later this day back to the park to see if they're still there, and I get into this like fairly long conversation with a woman there, and and even though it's awkward for me to say this, I think right wingers are a little better to talk to than left wingers because they seem to like some of the things I say, not everything I say. They don't really like the extreme anarchy stuff I have to say, but they like almost everything else I have to say.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, if you stay on principle with just freedom, rights, property rights, whatever, law, I mean, I think you can get everybody on board as long as they're generally open-minded. I have high optimism when it comes to that. I know that there is a tolerance that you hit with people and stuff, but I do believe that it can be achieved. And if you guys understand the Tao, I mean, we do have to possess some of those natural leadership techniques of just guiding people in the right direction, because this is something that a lot of people, I mean, don't really know, is that natural leadership. It's not one that is the authority and government that we have today. It comes out of just those creative pursuits like the ones that you mentioned, and learning from our mistakes and practicing and delivering it to others, you know? So, what would you say is one action step that really works for you in particular? Did I ask that already? But I don't know.
I think just starting conversations with people full, even though sometimes I do get really scared because the very first time I saw Mark Passio, I decided to make a presentation on the Federal Reserve, and I started screaming at my family like a psychopath at them about how evil they are and how they start fund these wars. And my dad starts telling me like things like you gotta find people who agree with you, and he's like you can't get angry because people have been manipulated into thinking that if someone is angry they're somehow crazy. Then when I try to teach a more relaxed natural law presentation, sometimes I feel like I can talk about this stuff for hours on end, then people like a few moments after the lecture, they kind of just go on with their lives as if they didn't hear anything new or nothing changed. But I try to push that mindset aside from them because the first time they hear it, it is soaking in their subconscious mind.
Yeah, yeah. Do what I mean. You don't want to do something that is too different from what you want to portray. Because again, like Charlie said, we all have different ways of doing things. You can experiment a little bit. Just I mean, as long as you're not trying to copy Mark or whatever, I think that's just important to say because you never know. A lot of people look up to him, and that's a good thing, like I say. But it's also something that we have to be aware of, and I think just see what convinced you. What allowed you to learn. And then if you want to attract like-minded people or be able to deliver it in the best way possible, then you'll be able to learn through your own lens of how you woke up to things. So, yeah, I don't know if that helps at all. I mean, obviously, it's just, it is conversation, so I can't really say, well, we can do much with that. But is there something you look forward to doing in the future, whether it is events or anything in particular?
I don't know. I'm just in natural. When it comes to natural law content, I really don't have anything planned too much at the moment. If something comes up, I will let you know something. But the reason why I've been doing a lot of workout lately is because my body is a vehicle for consciousness, and might as well make it the best vehicle I can have because I feel like I am pretty solid when it comes to the knowledge.
Yeah. Totally. So I mean, definitely, always look for room for improvement, though, man. And in real life change, which is good. That's something I actually really liked from hearing about today. Is you all kind of shared in real life stuff. Sometimes, usually, when I held these meetings, Mason would know. Like in the past, I mean, we would hear a lot about what people are doing online, and not a whole lot about what they were doing in real life. So I appreciate you guys for getting right to that, and maybe I don't know if I didn't make that clear, and you guys kind of went to that, which is good because that needs to be understood. That distinction between online and real life, like Charlie says, if the person you meet behind the screen, they might not even want to see you in person. He calls it real social networking, to get out and to actually, talk to somebody. That's real social networking. I agree. So thank you guys for being here. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I wanted to thank. Please forgive me for forgetting who said it, but someone mentioned about the mask, and I know the mask pamphlet you put together, Corey, about handing that to someone and just walking away. So while we've been here, I went ahead and have created. I took the what you created, Corey, and I made it into a laminated card, double-sided, and I'm going to produce a bunch of them. And that's going to be, if anybody else wants them to reach out to me, that's going to be my way of, if somebody starts giving me a hard time, because I don't wear a mask anywhere, my face is my mask. That's enough of a mask. But I'm just going to hand them one of them and walk away. So I think it's great. I decided to go ahead and do that while we were sitting here. So thank you I apologize for forgetting who gave that idea, but thank you for forwarding me the idea to put an action step forward to make that into a reality.
Awesome. Look at that. So we all got something new to do here.
Hell yeah.
That's perfect. So yeah, you guys are all welcome to join in on the brochure idea that I mentioned earlier. Of course, I kind of already briefly mentioned the things that I'm going to be doing, and I'll be doing a lot of the things that Mason mentioned too, like when it comes to putting out signs and stuff. It's just a matter of time. I think it's actually almost time to do so, because snow has melted and everything, so at least where I am. So good stuff, good stuff. Any further comments or concerns or whatever?
I guess the last thing I'll say is that I thought it was super cool today that I got to talk to two inspirational people today, being Mason and Corey. This has seriously improved my day already, and I think I've already got to kind of go out and walk because I've been sitting for a while now.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, and maybe we inspired you a little bit to get out there, maybe think about different ideas too, because since you're creative, if you're creative with different ideas, you'll be creative with different action steps too, I'm sure. So, think about what you can do maybe in your own community, find ways to make an impact like Gandhi, or look at some of the different leaders of the past. I don't know, you might come up with different ideas that no one else has thought of. So, just a little bit of extra points. So thank you guys all for joining, and if you want to chat any further, I'm always open for that, but I'm going to end the recording. So if you guys want to say bye and plug your channel, now is the time to do so.
Bye.
All right. Well, you're Techno Liberty. I'll plug for you, okay? Techno Liberty, right? On Instagram.
Right.
I'm just Mason Gleason.
There we go.
Charlie saying good night, everyone. Take care, and remember, the outcome of your day is only going to be as good as the input you place in it.
Awesome.
Love that.
Thank you guys.
And
Peace out. Yes, go Ronnie.
I was just
My
gonna
man.
say I'm Ronnie fucking Ross, and I got the Ronnie fucking Ross podcast only on Odyssey right now. I'm working on getting that RS channel, that RS feed.
Awesome. Yeah, so Ronnie Ross, and I'll have links below for the people that I can recognize here. And if you guys want to put your links in the chat now, anything extra that you want me to put below, just put it there. Thank you. Peace out.
Bye.